So I'm going to be tying a little tube fly that I kind of tied a few minutes ago. Turned out to be a really easy fly, came together quickly. I'll probably change it up a little bit, but the gist is basically marabou craft for some EP brush flash cone done. Comes together really quickly, and I think I'm going to build myself a little bit more of a prop with the EP brush on this one so that it actually kind of stays bulked out and nice. But anyways, whatever. Pro tube is what I use. I have a tendency always, because I never use this whole fucking thing, to always cut exactly half off of the small diameter and half off the big diameter. And then I'm left with maybe something that's 2 inches long. And what's nice about it is that I can always take that other half and build a whole nother fly. So it's basically one tube, two flies. Pretty neat, pretty neat. I kind of like to shape up the back of that fly or that tube after I cut it. Just by melting it down just a tad. So this is always silly when people discuss like what kind of thread they're using, but this is Semperfli Nano Silk. What the fuck is it? Nano Silk something 30D. This shit is, oh fuck. One thing I also missed here is that I've been adding some raw weight, specifically tungsten gray, extra small, 25 grams. I'm sorry, 0.25 grams. I don't even fucking know what that is trying to tell me, if I'm saying it right. Grains, grams. Basically, it's this. They're great. Slip them on there, and it just kind of helps to break that surface tension in the water when you cast a fly out there, man. Just gets it going. Don't add any real weight to your fly. Weighted flies are just kind of silly. Just use the proper sink tip. Sink tip. I actually have been watching Eric's Friday Night Flies, and he was like on a fucking rampage rant the other night about the mega mend. I fucking see it all the time too. People do not fucking mend. In fact, I've had people outright tell me that they like having the fucking big old bow in their line, like that it fishes better. And I'm like, go to town, you crazy fucking idiot. You're not gonna catch anything. And then they don't fucking catch anything. So why do you even go fucking fishing with me if you already know what you're doing? Sorry, that's kind of in the way. Okay. Tungsten raw weight, marabou, craft fur, flash, your choice. I like crystal flash, purple. I've been kind of just on a roll with it, or the peacock black. Been using it a lot in a lot of flies recently. This is gonna go so fast. It's so easy. So EP brush, I don't know what color this technically is, but I know that it's like the 1.5 inches, and the 1.5 inches is really probably the best size for most things I've noticed when it comes to the EP brush. I mean, I guess it depends on what you're using it for. But mine kind of always acts as like a prop instead of a dubbing loop. So if you smash this thing right against that tungsten, it's gonna fucking flare up. It gets rad, does its job. This is, when it comes to EP brush, and if you're using it like as a prop, like I do often, like again, instead of a dubbing ball, something for all the rest of your materials to sit against, I've found that it's actually nicer to use more than less. So, and because I grabbed a really small piece, I mean, this might be a little fucking excessive, but I'm basically going to finish this fucking thing off. And we're just going to go with it like that. Oh, I just heard my oven let me know that it's preheated. Because when it's my turn to make dinner, I always just make fucking pot pies or frozen pizza. And it's my dinner night. My turn to cook. Where the fuck are my cheese dick scissors? Some cheap scissors are gonna save your fucking life when you have to cut through a stainless steel wire. So, always fucking brush your materials. Like, as you tie a material in, brush it, because it's just get all that loose material out of your way right now so you're not fucking dealing with it on the river. It's not bulked up. It swims right. It does its thing. You want it to be doing its job. I want to focus on that, not on myself. So, that's pretty well lit. What's it time for now? It's craft for time. I don't actually know what color this is. I suspect this is like the silver dark blue or steely blue, or I don't actually know what color, but it's fucking obviously it's a blue color. It happened to look really good with the hot pink marabou. And so as I was kind of just freestyling that fly, I was like, oh fuck, that looks rad. Craft fur, by the way, is better to dunk this in some kind of water than it is to stick the whole thing in your fucking mouth or lick your fingers. It actually, this stuff really could use being wet most of the time. So, kind of tie that thing on there backwards. Loose wrap. I can already see some fucking cheese dick fucking loose materials wanting to break out of there. So I'll save that for a minute. And then peel all that back. And tie that. See how a bunch of that just wanted to come loose? It does that shit. It does that. So. I have a tendency to push, like I'll get my fingernail into it on every single thing and really try to get all those materials in there like kind of tight so that they, again, they kind of flare out. It's nice when they do that. That's an easy way to go about it, man. Especially on a tube. A lot of nice things about tying on a tube. For one, it's not on a hook. There's not a bunch of sharp double backs like there is on shanks typically, unless you're using the Aquafly shanks, which are fucking awesome, but who the fuck makes the other ones? I don't even know anymore. I don't work in a fly shop, so I don't know all the names of all this crap. Who gives a crap what it's called? You know what I'm talking about. Oh, I have fucking one right here. Actually, just been sitting in a fucking magnet. That little return eye on there, you get your thread on that and it cuts it. You have to be really careful around it, and it's kind of a nuisance. So look, I have this tendency when people talk about flash and it's always like 2 strands, blah blah blah, I have a tendency to believe that it's a good thing to just tie in a lot of flash, and I mean a fucking lot, and then if it seems like it's too much on the river, you can pluck it out. And so why not put it in there right now rather than wish that you had it when you're out there? You know what I mean? So like I'm turning this into basically 9 pieces. If that double backs again, maybe I'll do that. So now it just became 12. 12 fucking pieces of flash on this thing. That's really excessive. But guess what? I guarantee you, like when I'm out there, I will cut it out. I'll say I don't fucking need all that. Pull it, cut it to the proper length. That's the best practice here. Brush it. Especially craft fur. Brush the fuck out of craft fur. No, I just pulled that out. I didn't tie those in very well. Oh, fuck me. Look at me go. Fucking real dumb dick over here. Well, now I don't know. I didn't keep a track of that kind of fucking mess, did I? So, whatever. Just how fucking easy this is. Pink, windswept marabou, man. Now, there is the Nature's Spirit. I found, like, their feathers have been going to fucking shit for like 3 or 4 years. But there is a company out there, Spirit River. Watch them be the same company. But the Spirit River marabou, like almost every feather in one of those packages comes nice. So, and guess what? It's cheaper. At least it's cheaper at the Deschutes Fly Shop, where I picked that up, because they're the only ones I've noticed that have it. And they have like the tip dyed ones, which is silly because you can always just lay out your marabou on the table and like use a Sharpie and make that work. You remember like in 2003, like I graduated in 2003 and all the girls had like blonde hair with black tips. Those were always the girls who like rode horses. They were fucking crazy. They drove like the F-250s, like the early models. They didn't have a crew cab. They just had like the extended cab always, and it was always a fucking stick shift, which is great that they could drive a stick shift. But like it was just like you knew what you're getting into, and you didn't want to go near those girls. Tell you what, man, no fucking way. That was a bad move. Wow, this is fucking Slop Town. Who did this? So, this is basically how it's going to conclude. This and a cone, and then it goes... This one's going to look a lot better than I think that last one just did. And that's because I really put in that EP brush rather than going sparse. And I have a tendency, wherever I tear my feather, unless it's looking like it's really going to get crowded and I should stop, I tear my feather and I just use what I kind of pre-selected was going to be the material I was going to put into my fly. And I think that's going to be fucking great. So... Fucking dickhead. Really fucking get that thing juicy. Spit on it. Kind of lock those things in. See what's going on. Give it a brush. That's kind of it right there. I could wrap it with maybe some Guinea or something, kind of polish that up, but you know, I just don't fucking think it needs more. The tendency to kind of keep going just because you have the room to do it, like I could fucking just keep adding materials till I got the end of this tube, and that's all great and everything, but no, this will fish fine. So now again, I'll kind of like fit things and make sure it's the right bead before I commit to anything, before there's any glue or anything. I've already done this one, and I used a black, what size did I do? Again, this was like a cone head Pro Sport Fisher 5mm. The smaller the cone I can find, the better. That's my opinion, but I like small cones on my flies. And the only time I go big is if I have to cover up some materials that I got sloppy with, because some flies, that's what you do. You just kind of go to slop town. There's big bulky materials, and anymore, like I used to tie a lot of shanks, and when I tied shanks, I never used cone heads. I always used some kind of lead eye, or I wouldn't at all. I would just kind of like polish up the head with some head cement or whatever. But tube flies, I just always use a fucking cone. That's the easiest way to do it, I feel, is to cone it up. So that's a fucking cheese dick weird piece of flash. That's one of those ones that fell out that I tied back in, and now it's kind of doing its own fucking thing here. But give that old fucking push off. There's no way to tell you how much of that to cut. You just have to learn the hard way, I guess. But there is a great way to tell you how to do this. When you're melting back this plastic, let gravity do the work for you. Take the thing off, hold it upright, blue flame, and don't hold that flame to it. Kind of peel it off. Treat it like a meth pipe, man. You know what I mean? And then, actually, I don't know. I'm just kidding. Do I know? That pretty well does it. I usually give that a few minutes just to ensure that before I peel it off, it's not going to go to fucking Meltdown and get all weird, but that's pretty well it. And I'll kind of stick it back through there for you. It's gonna fish.